Today we're looking at an unexpected wrinkle in Microsoft's push to make Windows 11 more efficient, especially on lower-end PCs. It turns out the built-in Weather app, a tool many of us open casually just to check the forecast, is using over 1 gigabyte of RAM. That's a significant chunk of memory for many computers. Why does this matter? Because memory usage directly affects how smooth and responsive your PC feels, especially if you're working on a device with limited resources. So what's going on here? Recent tests from Windows Latest show that the Weather app can consume upwards of 1.2 gigabytes of RAM just to display a forecast. For context, that's roughly the amount of memory some entire programs use. It might spike even higher when you interact with the app, say zooming in on maps or switching between views. On systems with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is a common baseline for many users, the Weather app alone might be taking up close to 20% of available memory. Why is this happening? The root cause is that Microsoft's Weather app isn't fully native to Windows. Instead, it's essentially a web application wrapped inside a Windows program using Microsoft's WebView 2 framework. This framework is based on Chromium, the open-source engine behind browsers like Google Chrome. Because of this, the app launches multiple background processes similar to a browser, each consuming its own share of memory. Comparatively, Apple's Weather app on macOS uses less than 250 megabytes under similar conditions, a much lighter footprint. This high memory usage isn't just a technical curiosity, it has real implications. For users with high-end PCs equipped with 32 gigabytes or more of RAM, this may not cause noticeable slowdowns. But for the vast majority with 8 or 16 gigabytes, the Weather app's appetite for memory can push the system to rely more heavily on virtual memory or the page file. This means your computer might start swapping data to the hard drive or SSD, which is much slower than RAM, resulting in a less responsive, laggier experience. There's also the question of user experience beyond performance. The Weather app includes advertising embedded directly in the forecast feed. Sponsored content appears alongside weather information, blending visually, but adding a commercial layer to a built-in Windows utility. While Microsoft sources its weather data from reputable providers like Foreca and the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, the presence of ads in a default app has sparked criticism, especially given it's bundled with the operating system. In the short term, Windows users on entry-level or mid-range systems should be aware that opening the Weather app might contribute to sluggishness, especially if multiple applications are running simultaneously. For most, this isn't a deal-breaker, but it's a reminder that even seemingly simple utilities can have outsized effects on system resources. Microsoft has been vocal about wanting Windows 11 to run smoothly on lower-end hardware, updating several built-in apps to be more efficient. This situation with the Weather app seems to contradict that goal. However, there is some indication that Microsoft plans to shift towards more fully native applications in the future. Rudy Hewen, a Microsoft executive, has mentioned this direction, though it's unclear if that will include reworking MSN-branded apps like Weather using native Windows UI frameworks like WinUI. Looking further ahead, if Microsoft does continue to modernize and fully nativify its core apps, we could see substantial improvements in performance and resource efficiency. That would benefit users with limited hardware, reduce power consumption, and improve responsiveness across the board. On the other hand, the integration of web technologies into desktop apps is a broader trend because it allows faster development and easier updates, but it comes with trade-offs in memory and CPU usage. This tension between development speed and system efficiency is a challenge many software makers face. Microsoft's experience with the Weather app highlights the balance they need to strike, delivering rich, up-to-date content with minimal impact on performance. To reflect, this is a reminder that the software running quietly in the background can have a bigger impact on our daily computing experience than we realize. For users, it's worth paying attention to resource usage and not assuming that built-in means optimized. For developers and companies like Microsoft, it's a call to prioritize efficiency as they evolve their platforms, especially as the diversity of hardware in the market grows. Ultimately, the Windows 11 Weather app story is a small but telling example of how technology choices ripple out to affect usability, user satisfaction, and even system longevity. As we watch these developments, it's clear that balancing rich features with lean performance will remain a key challenge and opportunity for the tech industry.